A vibrator.
What's that gonna do?
No, I literally meant like a person.
Have come on this journey with me where I've realized I'm not very good at video games.
So now I gotta turn the seed into flesh, Jake. I turned the seed into flesh.
Look, we know Garfield didn't go to January 6th because he's lazy. But you know he was
And it was
there
a
in
Monday.
spirit.
Truck.
Is that enemy truck?
Yep.
That's a delayed! Yeah, leave it like that. That's good. That's good. That's good, Will.
I thought you were gonna say, and then I learned about Nazi Germany.
I think about the moment when you look into Sonic's eyes all the time. I think about Sonic's feet.
Okay, let's go. Wow. Oh! Oh!
He has a kid!
I'm on stream. Maggie's watching Forrest Gump. Apparently she got to.
If you had asked me to guess what Maggie was talking about when she came in, I would not have guessed Forrest Gump.
Look, I hate Twilight Princess. I've never played it. I don't want to because I hate that art style.
Man, that is the most Ian Gibson sentence I've heard in my entire fucking life.
it's a
I know. I don't think you can say that.
I can literally hear it behind me.
Oh, it's Roxas. Show me Primus. Show me some Primus. Primus, baby. Look, I want to be a little slutty so that people will want to be friends with me.
Yes!
Yes! Woo! Wow!
One. We did it!
Hey, the
timer started over. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's episode 109 of our local chat here, and joining me this week is not one Ian Gibson. No, he's away. It's one Jake Terrio. Hello. And we've got David from Save Data.
Hello.
He's here. Ian's not. I've written here in the chit chat section, revel in the fact that Ian is away. So if we could all...
He's not only away, he's
Just-
out of the country.
He's out of the country. We could
here.
theoretically get him declared on a no-fly list so he couldn't
If we
return.
we need to pass laws to prevent him from re-entering the country
Yeah, we
before
need to ban French
before his
Canadian
vacation is over.
born American citizens.
For
immediately.
the folks listening, Will messaged me on Discord and said, like, hey, can you be on tonight? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he said, it'll be me and Jake. Ian is away. To which I responded, thank God.
We can talk about Twilight Princess without getting yelled at. We can talk
man,
about
Finally.
basically every video game that he hates.
Which is just all video games that aren't named Factorio. So
Honestly,
of
all video games. Yes, Ian is away. He is in, I believe, the great state of England, as we Americans like to call it. Yeah, he's starting his own capital riot over there. Very excited for him to steal the Declaration of Independence from Buckingham.
wouldn't it be like the Magna Carta or something for them?
Magna cum laude, I think,
Or that scepter that the king has. I
It's
don't know.
King now, isn't it?
the staff of
There's a
Ross.
lot of-
I
That's
think you're
weird to
referring
hear.
to.
Like
Yeah.
just to hear King instead of Queen, I'm like, that sounds wrong. But
Yeah, there's gonna be so much media now with like jokes about the Queen that are like, when was the last Queen joke before she died? Like
Honestly,
recorded.
Hazel and I were just watching something that was pretty current that had some reference to the Queen. We're like, oh well, that's out of date now, but I can't remember what it was. But it's definitely within the last like 3 years.
And all the sci-fi shows that said things about the Queen or sci-fi shows that said things about Elon Musk, Iron Man 2,
Rip.
are ruined
Aged
forever.
like fine milk.
Like fine milk. Anyways, unlike fine milk, I am here to not be disgusting. We're here to talk about the games we've been playing this week, and as always, I like to start with the person that pleases me the most. And that's going to be David this week, everybody. Give it up.
I'll allow it.
I mean, you as long as like Ian's not on the show and you pick him after saying that, like we're doing fine.
Listen, Ian pleases me in his own way.
Oh
And
no.
we'll leave it at
Oh
that.
no. Oh no.
David, what have you been playing this week? Tell me all about it.
I haven't been playing a ton of different games, but I have been playing a lot of one particular game, and that is Fire Emblem Engage. I think you had Jason on last week, didn't you? Is that right?
It's true. We
Was
did
that
have
last
Jason
week?
on
Yeah.
last week.
Jason's flown past me on this game. We started at like roughly the same time. He blew past me real quick, but I'm playing Fire Emblem Engage. I'm in the last probably 5-ish chapters of the game, and I am having a fantastic time with Fire Emblem Engage. Doesn't have a paper thin story that you could easily poke a hole in with literally any implement on the face of the planet. Yes, it does. Are the characters mostly real boring? Yes, they are, except Yunaka S-class character,
Oh,
both in
man.
character and in like actual gameplay. Yunaka's the best.
Oh god, I just almost ripped off everything. Sorry, I hit a cable. I want to play Engage. I played Sacred Stones. I enjoyed Sacred Stones.
Honestly, it's a lot like Sacred Stones.
Well, I was gonna say I went into it being like, oh yeah, the Fire Emblem combat is like one I'm into. Like that'd be fun to play finally. And once I discovered I liked it, it was nice. But also that story rip and tears, and it's great.
Okay, yeah, no, the story does not rip and tear and Engage. The combat, though, I will say, is almost certainly the best it has ever been. I absolutely love the combat system, and not just the system itself. Like Three Houses, I liked the systems that they used, but the map design was largely just like, here's your army, here's the enemy army, kill each other, have fun, great. That's it. And that was most of the maps in Three Houses. There were some exceptions where they had some cool mechanics, but excuse me. But Engage is the opposite. There are very few here's your army, here's the enemy army, go at it maps. A lot of the maps have, and I'm going to use this word that's usually a negative, but I mean it in a positive here, and that's gimmick. Like a lot of maps have a gimmick to them. But a well-designed gimmick. They add some terrain effects that are new that actually, like, instead of just most of the terrain effects in Fire Emblem are either increase or decrease your avoidance, and that's mostly what they've been used for pretty much all the Fire Emblem games. This adds some new ones that also like decrease or increase your defense and your resilience, which has a lot of resistance for Fire Emblem, which has a lot of effect on where you're going to position your characters. There are ways to get rid of those map effects too, using the emblems that you get, which adds a whole new layer of strategy because you can, clear out certain areas that make them better choke points or better areas to place your units, better areas to lure the enemy units. Like there's a lot more big brain time in this game. There's a lot of different tools you can use. The emblems provide a lot of cool tools. One or two of them also let you modify the terrain, which is really cool, in very interesting ways and different ways. So without a doubt, this is like top tier combat for a Fire Emblem. Story and characters, absolute bottom tier of Fire Emblem games. It's not great. There's like 3 characters I give a shit about, and the other ones I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna forget who you are when I'm done playing this game and never think of you again for the rest of my life. But most of the characters that I do really like, I really like that Yunaka character I mentioned. I actually do like the main character a lot. I went with the female version of Aleer, and first time they've had a good voice actor, like just absolutely nail the character, I think. And they've had like Yuri Lowenthal play Marth or some shit in the past, and like this, they absolutely
Damn.
nailed this character.
Yuri burn.
With their absolutely nailed. Like female Lear is perfect. Only character that has emotion in this entire game. Absolutely great though. So I'm having a good time. The maps are super designed well. None of them are boring to me. The enemy I will say, if you've played previous Fire Emblems, a lot more aggressive in this game.
Mhm.
Like incredibly aggressive. There is a map that basically has 6 mini bosses on it, and
Damn.
they just come at you. You're in a corner of the map, and like this was the one map I've had to truly like restart from the beginning after using my rewinds, because they brought that feature back from Three Houses. Like did the traditional thing I do on a map, and I'll go to a certain direction, try and take out one of the mini boss, move to the next one, and then they just like kept coming at me, and I just got overwhelmed because I like moved out of my defensive position. I was like, oh, okay, they don't usually AI is very rarely this aggressive in Fire Emblem if you're not playing on like the super high end difficulty. So they swapped up a little bit on the units. Promotion totally different from Three Houses. If you like Three Houses, you probably won't like this Fire Emblem unless you played previous Fire Emblems and liked them. I will say that.
Gotcha.
And I have a friend from work who liked Three Houses a lot. Picked up this one. He's like, I don't know if this is clicking with me. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I love it a lot, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've only played Sacred Stones. Jake, do you have Fire Emblem experience?
I played a Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance, and I don't remember which one, but that was the last one I've played.
Do you remember
7 or 8?
roughly what a character looked like?
I think it had Roy in it, but I don't know if
So
I'm
that-
You
just
played
conflating-
7.
Yeah,
It didn't have Roy in it, but you played 7.
Oh, okay.
He looks like Roy, and
Yeah,
it's
it's his
Binding
dad.
Blade, right?
Uh,
Sacred Blade? No, Binding Blade.
I
Raisin
forget.
Blade?
Very little.
Six,
about it.
Anyways.
6 and 7. One is blazing. One is binding. I
Yeah.
don't remember which one. It
So
is.
I played through 8 after Jason recommended it. I had an absolute blast. I started 7 and it was off the heels of 8, and I always do this where I like want to play the next game or like another game in the series, and then it's just like I'm burned out at that point. I'm just using the leftover hype to get a little ways into a game. So I stopped that. We had our discussion last week where he was saying basically the same as you, is that the combat's the best it's ever been. Story's a little lackluster. So basically it came down to either my next Fire Emblem is that one or Path of Radiance.
Oh, Path of Radiance is really good.
Yeah. Or it's Paper Mario Thousand Year Door was the three we
Oh, okay,
settled
okay.
on. So I think I got my GameCube discs to get right into my Steam Deck. I just installed the disc drive. It was incredible.
So I know we're sort of joking. I literally saw someone who glued a disc drive to the back of their Steam Deck the other day.
I don't know if it's the same thing as you, but there was a Reddit
Yeah,
thread
it was the
going
same
around
thing
with
then.
someone
Yeah.
who it was Half-Life 2 and a disc drive
Yep,
glued
it
to
was
the
the
back.
same one.
It was so good. So I have a bunch of stuff on my list for that. I started a thing where I'm pulling games from the 1001 games to play before you die, but I also decided I'm not going to do that A, every week because it's annoying, and B, because I can't play a new game every week if there's tons of games to play. So I've added those Fire Emblems to the list at least.
Yeah, I would put Path of Radiance and 7 as like my 2 favorites.
I
me
loved
personally.
8.
And Path of Radiance is just like mechanics, story, literally everything in that game is great. So yeah, I'd say play Path of Radiance out
bless
of those, if I'm being honest. But
I think Path of Radiance is my next. I have to finish Luigi's Mansion. That's been on the back burner for a while, so I think once I finish that, I'm gonna start up good old Path of Radiance. David, tell me your tales, sir, of the symphony.
oh yeah. So I have an addiction.
We know.
The addiction is Tales of Symphonia. And if you don't know, tomorrow, February 17th, Tales of Symphonia Remastered comes out.
Oh God.
So, unrelated, I've been playing Tales of Symphonia on the Steam Deck. I'm on like my second playthrough, I think, of that game on the Steam Deck. since the Steam Deck arrived at my home. I absolutely love this game. Favorite game of all time. Very excited
All
for the remaster.
time?
Absolutely. I have played Tales of Symphonia probably 20 something times at this point.
Jeez.
With the
Does
new
it get
game
better?
plus makes it pretty quick. The new game plus in Tales of Symphonia adds a lot of stuff in that there are a couple different ways to go through the story. One of them you kind of need new game plus for, which lets you take a different route, and the story kind of makes more sense if you go that way. So there's a little bit of that. There's a lot of side quests that are really easily missable, especially if you don't use a guide or something. So playing through multiple times will get you those, and you can get 2 different companions depending on what. Well, let me rephrase this. You get 2 different companions, and depending on on what you do in the first half of the game, which one comes back at the end of the game changes, which is
I
really cool.
see.
And like you fight different bosses and stuff, so it's cool stuff to do for New Game Plus. I would not recommend being a psychopath like me and trying to 100% this game on one platform, let alone 2 or 3 when the remastered comes out, because it takes like 5 playthroughs to 100% this game, minimally.
Now, what I don't know the answer to this, or I don't know the facts of this, so I may be way off here. But what percentage of you enjoying playing Tales of Symphonia is a relative, like, nostalgia is not the word, but like comfort? Do you like
Oh, it
get
is.
comfort from playing it?
It is very much a comfort food game for me.
Yeah.
Because it is like my favorite game and I know it front to back. Like I'm literally from memory clicking a chest and I'm like, I know it's in this chest. And there's 274 chests in the game.
Jeepers.
So yeah. And like knowing exact lines that are about to happen, like it's like I'm one of those people who watches the same movie over and over again and knows the lines that are going to come up. It's that, but a 60-hour your first playthrough video game. I can clear in like 20 now, which is not so bad. But
God, I desperately like. I need to play this game now.
Remaster comes out tomorrow. I'm just wait. I'm a psychopath. I bought the like deluxe edition direct from Bandai, so they're shipping out via steel case, and I don't know when that's probably not going to come tomorrow, but whenever that gets here, I'll
nerd
boot it up.
No, that's
yeah,
fantastic.
I love this game. Absolutely love this game.
I
would
like-
recommend it to literally almost anyone.
I think I must say I think it's the reason I like Jason, which is it's not what I mean. It's one of the reasons I like Jason is I like knowing people's like game they know front to back. Like his
Tales
is like
is
Fire
mine.
Emblem
Tales
stuff.
is
Yours
mine.
is Tales. Jake's is
You pick a
Signalis.
couple.
Yeah, you pick a lot. So this is
I thought you were gonna say Hyper Light Drifter.
I was gonna say Hyper Light Drifter, but I was trying to
No.
think of something else.
Oh yeah, mine is definitely Tales of Symphonia with Psychonauts at a probably close second.
I can't think of mine right now, but I'll think of it as soon as we get off this. It's probably Dwarf Fortress, but
That makes sense.
I think I just know more. I just know a lot about Dwarf Fortress. I don't know like I'm still learning stuff all the time.
I was gonna say, Dwarf Fortress also isn't a start
can't
here,
really
end
know
here
it front
game.
to
That's
back.
true.
Yeah, there's no front to back because there is no front and back of Dwarf Fortress.
I
Well,
know
maybe there's
Lego
a front,
Racers front to back.
Oh, I mean, sorry. I
Classic.
hummed that one day at college, and someone's like, "What are you singing?" I was like, "That's the Lego Racers theme." They literally pulled it up, and they're like, "How do you remember that?" It's like, dude,
Because
I
it's
played
a
that game
banger.
so much.
That main
That's
menu
a banger,
music by
and then
Eric
the
Knopfsinger.
do 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 do.
Yeah, that's the-
Well, we got to
ugh.
get you on
build music.
another video game Jeopardy for save data.
Oh, you should, but yeah, make it all JRPGs again and PS2.
I think the one I made that we haven't done yet has either enemy sounds or music in it. I don't remember which one I put in.
The one I was on last was all PlayStation 2, I think.
Oh, that was the
based,
one. I
or
made.
it was heavily
Yeah,
PlayStation 2,
yeah.
which was a console I did not grow up with. And then I lost all my points at the end when I bet on an answer. I kept
Oh,
that
yeah.
stupid. Was it Tomy? What's
Tomba?
Tombi? Tomba. It was the logo for Tomba, and I kept guessing because I thought it was something else. And then the other thing where the letter was missing from Jade Empire.
It wasn't
Which
Jade
is
Empire.
wild. Oh, stupid Jade Empire. There's no E in Jade Empire.
I think it was
Oh, God.
I want to say it was.
Oh yeah, there was yeah. Jesus Christ. Let's hit this last one here. You have purchased an item.
Oh yeah, so I bought a thing. I know I haven't played anything on it yet. I bought it because it was easily accessible and I didn't want it to go out of stock because like Amazon had reservations and stuff for it. So I was like, I see this thing. I know I'm gonna want this thing in the next like 30 days. So I'm just gonna pick it up. That is an Xbox Series X. It's kind of peeking out a little bit there.
Hi.
It's under the lamp. It looks like it's part of the lamp. That's a little Series X peeking
Konnichiwa.
out. So I picked that up. I have never owned not never. I've never bought an Xbox anywhere near release in my life. The only Xbox I have bought was a 360 during the Xbox One era, specifically to
Classic.
play Tales of Vesperia, which, and this is not a joke. Within 2 weeks after I beat that game, they announced a remaster for all platforms, and I was very angry.
That's fantastic.
So this will be my first like real entry into the Xbox ecosystem. I've been using the PC version of Game Pass for a while, off and on. But like Hi-Fi Rush coming out is something that very much speaks to me and something I super want to play. I didn't want to play it on my PC, so I was like, okay, there's a bunch of Game Pass stuff coming, like Starfield and other things that are coming in the future. So I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna get Series X. I'm gonna play a bunch of these games, just not until I'm done with Fire Emblem, probably. So when I'm done with Fire Emblem, Hi-Fi Rush time, and going through Game Pass on the Series X. So hopefully next time I'm on, I'll have gotten through Hi-Fi Rush and a couple other games, and I can report back my Xbox experience. I will say it was very easy to set up, so that was good.
That's great. Yeah, I'm like, the other reason I was bringing up that I'm not pulling games as often anymore is because I'm like, on Game Pass alone, I think I'm 4 games behind. Like I've downloaded 4 back, and I'm like, let's get through all these games so I can play these Game Pass games. And I was tempted to boot one up today just to be like, oh, let's see if I want to play it, but I can't do that. I got to finish other games first. I'm trying to be better about finishing games that are finishable. Or if they're not, at least like finishing a indoor fortress sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm pretty good about like if I pick up a game, I finish it, or relatively early, I'm like, no, this isn't for me.
Yeah, I get to the problem where it's like Karen and I will be on the couch, and she'll be playing something, or we'll be watching something. She'll be playing. The TV's occupied, so I'm like, I pick up the Steam Deck or the Analog Pocket or the Switch, and I'm like, oh, let me play a game while we're watching. While I can't use the TV. But then I get stuck because I'm like, I don't want to start a big game on one of these because I'm only playing because I don't currently have access to the TV. And then I fall into a pit of like, oh, I've played the first 10 minutes of Paper Mario like 50 times because I keep
this is why Tales of Symphonia on the Steam Deck is my comfort game, because like I can just play that while I'm watching anything, or like,
yeah,
it's because it's a game I know front to back. I don't need to fully pay attention to it. So like I can watch TV on my own or with someone else, watch a movie, do something, and then still be playing Tales on my Steam Deck.
Yeah, I realize I need to install a couple of my like similar comfort games on those devices. So when it like the moment happens, I can just do that.
I just play like, oh wait, were you with me on the Vampire Survivors is mid and didn't keep playing it, or are you with Ian?
I liked Vampire Survivors, but unlike everyone else, I could play once and stop.
Okay, so
I wasn't very addicted to it. It is a good game. I enjoy it. But I did not pine for it like I pine for people. I don't know, there's no joke there. Jake. Jake.
Yeah. Well, on the topic of comfort games, my comfort game is Islanders, which I've cleared 900 hours. And that's the game that I'll have on my Switch. If similar to you, Will, we just have the one TV, And so when Hazel's home and we're like watching TV or something, I don't want to be monopolizing that. And so
What
I'll
is this game?
Islanders is a charming town construction simulator. Um,
Oh no, I can't play this.
it's very good.
I'm on the Steam page. I'm like, no, 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 no. That's a time sink right there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because you can build an island. Oh, my dog's freaking out. You can build an island in like 30 minutes. So I guess divide 900 hours by 30 minutes, and that's how many islands I've done. Um,
600.
cool.
60.
Um, yeah,
I don't know how
that's
math works.
I play like an hour or two of that basically every night.
It's
Um,
1800. Will.
It's very good. But
There's 60 minutes in an hour, so you got to multiply
See,
900 by 60.
Yeah,
first,
that's
and
the
then
part I
divide
wasn't.
by-
That's the part I wasn't doing. I was doing real math
my wife's in an accounting class right now, and so she's able to do math a lot better than me.
for the both of you.
But yeah, for the both of us. Um, in other more quote unquote proper games on big consoles, I have been playing Hi-Fi Rush,
Oh, I wanna go
which
play it so
is
bad.
it's I mean it's super cool. And all you look at it for 5 seconds and you're like, "Okay, yeah, this just looks like it's going to be a good time." I have a very kind of interesting history with rhythm games um because I am not to toot my own horn, but I am musically inclined. I play instruments, I sing. I was in, musical theater, all that kind of, theater kid garbage. Um and so anytime a rhythm game would come out, like when I was a kid, I would always have someone be like, "Oh, Jake, you play guitar. Let's play Guitar Hero." And I was never good at like Guitar Hero or games like that because they just never felt quite right. And so I was wondering with Hi-Fi Rush, knowing that it was going to be a rhythm game going into it, I was wondering if I was going to have that same kind of weird friction with it, but no. It owns. And the controls just feel really, really tight. There's a moment, I think maybe after like halfway through the second level, there's a moment where they introduce a rhythm parry where you can parry enemy attacks where they'll tell you what the rhythm of the attack is going to be and then you parry it on the beat and it feels so good. um yeah, I think I'm only past the second boss. I know Kyle has rolled credits on it. And I'm excited to dive back into it because I got sidetracked because Monster Hunter Rise came to Game Pass and I was like, it's time for me to beat up some big monsters." Um and I rolled credits on it after maybe like 35 hours. I can't remember how many hours I put into Monster Hunter World, which was my first Monster Hunter. Um, and I remember rolling credits on that, and then there still being like half the game left. It had a very
Mhm.
long end game. And I was surprised with Monster Hunter Rise when the credits rolled because I felt like I was only like a third of the way through the game. Knew comparably to where I was in Monster Hunter World, and it's way before that. So they're just like, okay, yeah, roll credits. Okay, now here's like another 2/3 of the game buried in the back of this. It's very fun. It's got some new traversal stuff. They have like these wire bugs where you can almost like grapple around to do interesting new combos and stuff. I still am relying fairly heavily on the long sword and the great sword, kind
Mhm.
of like the two extremes of the combat mechanics. One that's really fast and agile, and one that's really heavy and slow. But they're both still super fun. And now you have a dog that you can ride. That's charming. Um,
That's fun.
yeah,
Palamute? Is that the name for it?
Yep, I think they call them Palmoots, and then the cats are Palicos. Um, but
Like Calico.
yeah, it's definitely
But they're pals.
you can definitely tell it's definitely smaller than Monster Hunter World,
Yeah.
just in terms of scope, knowing that it was a Switch title first.
Yeah, they were gonna try and put Monster Hunter World on
Yeah,
the
but it
Switch.
but it looks great. Like
Yeah.
been playing it on Xbox, and it doesn't look like a Switch game that's been ported. I would have totally believed that it was built ground up for the Xbox if it weren't that it was
They could
much
probably just turn all
tighter
the
in scope.
limiters off from the Switch
Yeah.
version. Like undo the
And
belt.
yeah,
Question, Jake. Have you
yeah.
seen the like trailers? And I don't know if it's out today or soon for Wild Hearts, I think it's called.
I have seen that's the EA Monster Hunter. I definitely have
Yeah,
seen
it's
trailers for
EA.
it.
I want to say Team
Squeenix.
Ninja. I thought
And
it was
yeah,
Team
I think
Ninja.
no, I think Team Ninja. I'm pretty sure Square Enix is involved.
Who's working on
I'm
this?
interested to
I know
try
the
it.
PC version is not good.
Well, someone made that up.
Is what I've heard. Oh, it's Omega Force.
Wild
I mean,
Hearts is
Oh,
one of my.
they're part of Koei, so they're with Team Ninja.
It looked interesting when I saw trailers for it. But
I've heard good, like the reviews just started to drop today, and I've heard pretty good things about it. So I was
Yeah.
curious if you were looking at it or not.
yeah, I will definitely be looking at it when it lands somewhere. I can
Wild
play it.
Hearts is one of the Game Pass games sitting in line.
Oh, is that launching on Game Pass?
It's EA Play, so it's on Game Pass. So
Yeah, that
And
makes sense.
then
That makes
the
sense.
last big thing is this Tuesday, 2 days ago, was the season finale of the current Destiny expansion. So this is the third season of the Witch Queen, leading into Lightfall, which launches on the 28th. And there's some bonkers stuff happening in Destiny, folks. I don't know how into the lore either of you are, but it's pretty
I
wild.
know literally nothing about Destiny, so
Mm,
I know.
other than the moon is haunted, I do know the moon is
the
haunted.
moon is haunted. You're right. Yeah.
But that's
I
true of like
know-
actual Earth too. So like,
I know more than I'd like to admit of pre where's the one where Cade died?
Forsaken. That's the one you and I
Forsaken.
reviewed for Gaming
Yes.
Metroid.
I have more knowledge than I'd like to admit of Destiny pre Forsaken.
Hmm. Okay.
Because that's where I stopped playing after Forsaken. So I guess Forsaken's included in that. Post
Well, yeah, I don't know if either of you
post
remember,
Forsaken.
but when Bungie announced Destiny, they always talked about this 10-year plan
do you
of the
remember that?
narrative
Yeah.
arc. And next year, 2024, is year
years.
10. And that's when the big when they're the big end of it all, the final shape, they're calling that expansion. And it's gonna be crazy to see where it goes. Because narratively, they've packed, I think, more narrative development into these was Forsaken 2018, because Destiny 2 was 2017.
Yeah.
In these
I think so.
4 years, they've done like double the narrative development of those first 4 years.
It was
Damn.
2018. Yeah.
It's crazy. But
I love Destiny a lot. My friends and I had a blast playing it. Every time I try to go back, I'm like, yeah. And then I get things, and then there's too much to do, and I don't understand weapons or how guns work. My thing with Destiny is I just like getting a gun that I enjoy and playing with it. And then everyone's like, oh, you gotta mod it and put things on it and make it pretty. I'm like, dude, I just want to shoot this thing. Like, I did the Haunted event to get that sweet kick-ass gun, which is great. But I am happy. I will play Destiny 3 when it comes out, because that's when the next big onboarding push will be.
they've said they are not doing that.
No, it's happening. When the next Destiny comes out, not
I mean, that's
Destiny 3.
February 28th.
Yeah.
That's not the new. No, when
Like
there's a new
fall.
Destiny platform.
No, but Will, there's so many
yeah.
neat quality of life changes coming in Lightfall. They're finally doing armor loadouts where you can build a whole set.
I'm sorry, it's 2023 and they don't have loadouts yet.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's taken them this long. But there's a ton of quality of life stuff that's coming in addition to kind of it took me a while to get into Destiny, because those first 2 years I always remember hearing like, oh yeah, the gunplay's great, the world is cool, but the stories that whatever. And so I got in it with Rise of Iron in 2017, 16. And since then, it's like my Lord of the Rings, where I'm definitely in it for the story. I love the gameplay,
Yeah.
though I cannot fathom onboarding someone into the game now.
That's
It's way
kind of where
too
I'm
it's
at.
way too dense. But
Like
Um,
Destiny, when it launched, Destiny 1 specifically, like
yeah,
didn't really have the lore
no.
based on what I've talked to other people
was
They've
on the
about.
been
website.
spending 9 years writing themselves out of that
Yeah.
first year.
Yeah. So like Destiny came out and I was like, oh, I'm not really interested. Destiny 2 came out and I think I was playing some other live service game and I'm just like, I can't handle having multiple like live service games at the same time. And now that I'm not really playing any live service games, it's just like a behemoth that I'm like, I don't think I can jump into that at this
Yeah.
point.
I think they have done a pretty interesting thing with delivering weekly story content over their seasons, where every reset there's just like another hour or two of the narrative as it slowly evolves and evolves and evolves. So they get you back in every week, at least for a little bit. But it's a pretty interesting uh narrative system that they've deployed. Whereas, Taken King was just, play through the whole thing, whatever. Rise of Iron, play through the whole thing. But now they're really stretching it out so it feels much more like an ever evolving world and an ever evolving story.
Oh yeah, I don't want that.
It's pretty good. Like
I mean, like,
they're
I
like
want that,
permanently
but I don't
changing
want.
the skybox every once in a while. It's
I
pretty
want it. I just
insane.
don't want it weekly. Like, give me more time.
Oh, I mean, you can binge it all at the end. It's not
Ah, okay.
it's not
Okay.
1 week and then you miss it. It's
Oh,
just they're
that's
they're
good. That's
they're
good.
delivering new stuff every week. So if you wanted to, you could wait all 8 weeks and then just for like 5 or 6 hours plow through all of it.
Does the content after that season go away?
Yes.
Okay,
So
so
that
the
yeah,
point, my point still stands.
yeah. You do have to get in there at some point.
Oh yeah, no.
Like changing
They
the
are
sheets.
though, as part of Lightfall, they are reintroducing some of the older missions on a weekly rotator. So there's parts of it that are coming back, but there's definitely narrative stuff that's just not there anymore.
Which is,
It's a little wild.
it's a wild decision that is not good for onboarding new players.
No, yeah, that's why at right before Witch Queen, they like self-produced a like the story up till now kind
Yeah.
of animation. Whereas there were a variety of fan ones out at the time, but then Bungie was like, we're gonna do our own. And so I'm anticipating that maybe they're gonna do something like that. Um, Maybe not leading up to Lightfall, but definitely leading up to the final shape, because that's gonna be the culmination of all 10 years of what they're calling the Light and Darkness saga. Like it's Endgame or something.
I mean, it is their
Uh,
end game.
Yeah.
Jake, when
Yes.
you listen here, bud.
Mm-hmm.
When you get the ability physically and mentally
Mm.
to stream more
Mm-hmm.
in the future,
Mm-hmm.
I would be willing
Mm-hmm.
for let's catch up Will. Let's get Will
Mhm.
caught up on Destiny 2.
Ooh.
Sort of noob in the master sort of thing. I think it would work better
Ooh.
with me than it would with Ian, for sure.
He would hate
Or B, someone who has never played Destiny.
it. Mm-hmm.
I think
It's
I
a
know
video
enough
game. Ian's gonna
to get
hate
into it. Yeah.
it.
Speaking of, sorry, but I will do a stream series with you if we want to.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I'm 100% behind that. Side note, to make fun of Ian. Ian started playing a video. I'm being vague because we are gonna end up streaming this. But he started playing a video game and he messaged me while on vacation and he said, "Hey, listen, we should stream this because it's bonkers out the gate." And I said, "Did you play one of the missions?" And he said, "No, I paused it right away." And I said, I need you to play a mission because we're gonna stream it. We're gonna get to a mission and you're gonna pull an Ian and stop the stream immediately." And so he's like, no, it's good. He's like, so we put like the stream thing in, and several times I was like, "Do you want me to play?" Because it's not bad. They're not bad. It's not a bad game. It's just old. So it's just like I have patience. He does not. And I was like, do you want me to play? He's like,
God,
like-
I'm sorry, I just said
he's
that.
like, fuck you.
Will, what game is this? What game is this?
Oh,
Come on.
it is the
Tease
game. Stu brought it to our attention a few weeks ago. Racing Lagoon. It is a Japanese racing RPG for the PlayStation 1. I think it plays great. The overworld's a little bit annoying because you run into cars and you have to immediately do a JRPG battle. And it's which is a race. And I couldn't figure out how to get the analog stick working, so I had to race with a D-pad. I think it's great. I just think within the first 2 minutes, Ian is going to be like,
Ian's gonna hate it. Yeah.
Absolutely not. So can't wait for that to come back and bite us. I'll go through my games for. Well, I don't have to go too quickly. There's not a ton of news this week. I'll touch on this quickly. I've been playing some Hogwarts Legacy. We talked all about our thoughts on the whole situation with that last week, so go give that a listen. Me, Jason, and Ian talked about that. It went great. We all agreed that we should give J.K. Rowling money. No, I'm kidding. We all agreed that she should. So, anyways,
I was about to
She's
quit
gonna be on the
this
show
call right
next
now.
week.
yeah, she's gonna be on the show next week. I can't think
Like,
of.
man,
other
is our
quality
host
people.
Ian? Jesus, I gotta
Yeah,
get out of
her, Ian, and we brought back Hitler, all to be on the show.
Right.
No, so anyways, Hogwarts Legacy, it's way more not generic isn't what I mean, but like NPCs and stuff are clearly like voice actor. They animated the faces because there's so many players and everything. So it's like it's really funny to be playing such a high quality, like B tier is not the right word, but like it's like an Elix or a Piranha Bytes game where it's just like, hello there, it's you, how are you doing, like that sort of thing. And it's very interesting to be playing a AAA game with that in sort of like 2023. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well. But beside the point, it's just a very generic game. It's fun being in Hogwarts. It's fun doing Harry Potter stuff. It's neat, especially for someone who grew up with it. I don't feel anything pulling me to finish this game. I don't feel anything at all for me to like discover everything outside of Hogwarts. Like I like walking around the castle. That's fun, and I'm glad it's they made up their own thing. It's not just a straight rip from the movies. So like that stuff's fun. The story doesn't seem that great so far. The way the like spells work and everything seems to be coherent and nice. And you learn the spell once by doing like this little like swirly Disney Channel thing, and then you kind of like can hot swap your spells, which is cool. And I think they've nailed all that points, but I don't think it's going to be on my top 10 at the end of the year. It might scrape into it if there's not a ton of games there, but I'm kind of glad.
Well,
it's
there are a
not
ton of games going on this
I know,
year. I'll
I
be
know,
shocked if it's
I
in your
know.
top 10.
So like I'm glad it's not some crazy amazing game that is like incredible. I'm glad it's just middle of the road great. And yeah, I'm gonna be playing it a little bit more. I don't know if I'll finish it. Again, the crux of me playing this game is because I enjoyed reading Harry Potter as a child, and that's about it. And the more I play, the more I think about donating again to more charities. 'Cause I'm just like so yeah, that's fun. I also started the Metroid Prime remaster.
It looks like a remake, but they said
wait,
remastered.
it
I was
does.
surprised.
What did John Carpenter call the Dead Space remake? He said it was like refurbished?
Refurbished, yes.
Refurbished?
I mean, he's not wrong.
The Metroid Prime refurbish I have been playing. I had never played Metroid Prime before. First Metroid game as well. I've tried one in the SNES one a couple times. Most of the time, honestly, to link back the previous conversation, when I'm stuck on the couch or in a situation where I'm like, oh, let me boot up Metroid or something, and I never like fully get into it. This game's a blast. I'm very much enjoying it. My one quibble with it is since it's a remaster, it still has the like mid 2000s figure it out sort of thing where
it
you
definitely
don't
does,
quite
yeah.
give you the hints as often as you would like, and it's a lot of backtracking.
Surprised
you
to
can-
give you hints at all based on the
I
time
know.
period.
You can only save at the save stations.
Yeah.
If you die, you go back to your previous save. So save often.
Wait, they didn't add autosave in the remaster? Okay, that was a choice. All right, good job, Nintendo.
It's the original experience.
Yeah, so that's frustrating because like Karen will get home and it's like, oh, let me go save. Let me go back through 14 rooms that the enemies have respawned in to go save.
That you'll then have to go through again when you boot it back
Right.
up.
So I chalk that all up to like once you know the game like a lot of people know this game, so they're just flying through it where me I don't. So I am using a guide, but only like I pull up the guide, read the sentence of like where I should get to, and then I just put it down and I keep going. Because like you have to collect these artifacts, which in your logbook, the artifact, it will have like a hint word, which is where the artifact's located, but you never know if you can go get that artifact right now. You have to go to the room, try to figure the puzzle out, and then thankfully it will tell you if you can do something yet. Like I was underwater and it said water hindrance, you need an item to move freely in water.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So it's like, thank God you're telling me that, because I don't want to get stuck here. But it's still kind of frustrating that I have to go to that room to figure that out, which is the main reason I ended up pulling up a guide anyways, because I don't want the linear path, I just want to know the direction I should be wandering next. And I don't know what the timing is, but after you've got your next upgrade or your artifact, a certain amount of time will pass when you're walking around and a little alert will come up and it'll say anomaly detected, and then it'll have you look at the map and it'll go to the sub map you're supposed to go to and it'll highlight a brand new room and you're like, okay, I have to go in that direction to get to the new room where either the next item is or the artifact or something like that. So Metroid Prime Remaster, I'm really enjoying. It makes me want to play more Metroid stuff, honestly. Whether 2 and 3, if those remasters are coming, or going back and playing the other ones.
I'd be with 4 coming. I'd be shocked if 2 and 3 weren't gonna be maybe not remastered but ported.
Yes, that is the grub rumor. Is they are being ported to the Switch, not remastered. Which honestly is fine with me.
Yeah,
I have downloaded the Metroid Prime remake. My previous experience with Metroid Prime is that my college roommate, on a whim, bought a GameCube on eBay, bought Metroid Prime on eBay, played it through in like a week, and then sold both of them back on eBay.
wow.
And so I witnessed Metroid Prime in like brief glimpses while I was doing homework, and then suddenly it was gone. So I'm excited to play it because it seems like it's right up my alley.
I've been thinking about picking that one up. I played Metroid Dread when it came out, and that was my first Metroid game, and I did not like it that much. So I'm curious if Prime would work with me or not.
I've never played a Metroid.
The 3D is nice, like being able to move in 3 dimensions, and the visor stuff. Also, if you shoot a missile against the wall, you see like her reflection. It's like really neat. For
her?
My biggest.
Wait, I can't play this anymore.
Sorry, his
telling
reflection,
me
his very feminine reflection.
You play as a woman.
I know it's a joke, but like it hurts to hear.
It really does.
I hated Dread mostly because of like the Emmy stuff that they added with like the kind of making it horror-ish almost, and I was like, I don't need this in my Metroid. I don't like this at all. So I don't. From what I've heard from Zach at Save Data, I don't think Prime is like that. So I might give this a shot later.
Yeah, I'm super enjoying it. It's nothing is like beating me enough to where it's like I've died once or twice and had to go back to a save point, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done with Metroid for the night. Let me boot up and play like an hour of Hogwarts or something, because it'll definitely get you in that mood where you're just like, fuck, and you just want to do something else. But majority of it's fun. The upgrades are fun. The controls are what took me the longest to get used to, because although they are nice and modern, there's a lot of like modern things where you can usually be button out of a menu or something that doesn't quite work in this game, or there's one visor that you can use the trigger to go back to the combat visor, but the other ones it doesn't work with because you can also shoot in those visor modes. So it's like, it was getting used to that, getting used to when you turn into a morph ball, the jump button isn't the same as the jump button when you're not a morph ball.
That's weird.
And I don't know why.
Come on.
And I'm going to give both of you a piece of advice right now. There's half pipes you Tony Hawk in. Release, you hold the boost button and you release it when you get to the bottom of the half pipe, the middle point of the half pipe. It took
That
me,
makes no sense.
Then you
I
do a
had to
kickflip.
look. I know I was doing it to boost up the sides to get higher and higher. I was like on my 10th one where I really needed to nail it, and I looked it up, and someone gave me that advice, and I was like, oh, okay.
Noted.
Super
That's-
frustrating.
Noted, but that's really weird.
So yes, Metroid Prime Remaster. I'm also enjoying that. I thought it was like a 4-hour game, 5-hour game. I'm
think it's like
7
10,
or
12.
8 hours into it. It's like a 14-hour game.
Yeah.
And I saw someone post it as their like third playthrough, and it was 14 hours. So I was like, oh god.
Yeah, a lot of those GameCube titles from that period were like secretly enormous.
Yeah. I don't.
Looking at
They
you,
were on
Tales
little
of
discs, too.
Symphonia.
Wait, is
Tales
Tales of
Symphonia.
Symphonia on the GameCube?
Oh, it was for North America. It was GameCube exclusive.
Oh, I would play
2
Tales of
discs. It
Symphonia.
had 2 of the little discs.
Crazy.
David, when's our Tales of Symphonia Let's Play where I kill myself on screen?
Will? I will show up to every episode almost no matter what time it is.
Tales of Will's Phony.
You know, I promise you, at some point in our lifetime, I will do a Tales of Symphonia, playing through the first, at least one stream of Tales of Symphonia. I will promise.
You probably won't get to the fun parts in one stream.
Well, but what I'm saying, if you make that stream fun enough, it could be
It's
2
true, it's
streams,
true,
it
it's
could
true.
be 3 streams.
Well, I'll be there. Let me know when it is. I will be there.
Yeah, you'll be there for the excitement, and then Ian will be there for the how much.
Oh, don't invite Ian.
I gotta balance it out. It can't be all highlights. Gotta have something for Halucha to clip. And finally, the game I have been playing all weekend. The demo is now gone. It's been ripped from my hands by the developer themselves. Is Shadows of Doubt.
Featured
Folks on
Subpixel Spotlight.
featured on Subpixel's YouTube channel. Shadows of
I saw
Obsession.
you post the video. I haven't watched it yet, though.
You should watch it. It's got a miraculous 40-ish views, I think, at this point. Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Shadows of Doubt is a voxel-based video game. If we all know what that means, kind of looks like
75 views, Will.
75. Shit,
Yeah.
son. We making bank. Shadows of Doubt, voxel-based detective game. So this is the what is the word? It's not post-industrial. It's like hyper-industrial. The world is industrialized to the point where the seas have risen and all of the cities are little islands in an ocean.
Oh, so like the world in 50 years.
Yes. So you are a detective. You go to make a new game, you make your detective. You can procedurally generate a brand new city, citizens, buildings, connections, all that sort of stuff. Or you can use the pre-built one in the demo. I played the demo city once, and then I generated 3 or 4 other cities. I don't know, since it's a demo and it had a specific thread to it, every time you start the demo, you wake up in your bed, you don't quite know where you are, you turn the lamp on, it's raining, you get out of bed, you it brings you through, teaches you some of the mechanics. There's a phone call, you go and pick up the phone, there's no one on the phone, there's a knock at the door, there's a note
Hotline
under
Miami,
the door.
You go kill everybody.
Oh yeah, Hotline Miami, go kill everyone. You pick up the note and it says find blank. It's a random name that they generate with the city. So then it teaches you look the person up in the city guide, get their phone number, get their address. You can go track them down. All of this stuff in the different light, procedurally generated. You have this detective board with red string that you can connect everything to. You go to the person's apartment, you find them dead on the floor, you gather evidence. The cops are at the door. You have to escape through a vent in the bathroom. You get out of the vent. You go to you're a private eye, so you go to the courthouse or the city hall or whatever, get a case file. So then you start searching this case and you figure it out from there. All of it procedurally generated in the full game. And then once you finish that case, you literally go back to your apartment and you've been evicted from your apartment.
Nice.
So then you have to go to the essentially policeman's union rep, and you're like, hey, listen, I need like a halfway house or something. And so they get you like an apartment in a basement.
That's Raz. He says hi.
Hi, Raz. The basements of all the apartment buildings are like 3 inches of water because of the rising water because of the climate crisis. So you have this like basement apartment now that you can start filling out with stuff. You can go to the job boards around various places and pull jobs. So like one of the jobs I found was like, hey, the police are too busy. They need you to go arrest this guy. Hey, I need someone with a camera to take pictures for me. Hey, I need someone to track down this person. Every NPC you can talk to, whether they want to talk to you is completely up to them. Most of them will say none of your business. You have to not stalk, but like keep an eye on people. I staked out the killer's apartment for like an hour, like trying to see their movements, and caught them when they were leaving. In both, so the demos were 90 minutes each, and so both times I solved the case, but there's like certain parameters in the case, so you can like fully fill it out, or you can just like name the killer where they live. And every time I just knew the killer and where they lived. The third one I did, I found shell casings in the apartment, and I actually tracked down the weapons dealer where they bought the gun from. But I couldn't. I wasn't exactly sure how to make like the person admit they had done it, or if I arrested them, I could. Yeah, like if I could, I didn't know if I could arrest them and like bring them in and like talk to them. It's very, if I didn't mention this, it's very immersive sim. So you can go the computers, you can log into every computer, like look at the security camera feeds. You can rewind the security camera feeds and it tells you the people in the security camera. So you can like print out reports that tell you who was there at a certain point, so you can like convict them at that spot. You have a fingerprint gun. I don't know. It's just so much in this game. Yeah, very Oberdinish. You're not. Yeah, for the final thing, you're kind of like filling that stuff out. That's very smart. Or as I like to say, case the golden idol-ish. Anyways, I'm terrible at describing games. I've always been terrible. So go watch my video on subpixelfilms.com. Bring straight to our YouTube channel. Actually, it doesn't. It brings you to Linktree, but you can take that to this YouTube channel. Shadows of Doubt, coal-powered games. I believe it's coming out this year. Go wishlist it. It was terribly fun.
Sounds like a Zach from Save Data game, like through and through.
Yeah, I sent it to him because I think they're whatever they play detective games sometimes. So I think they would enjoy that.
Yep.
Yeah, Mystery Boys. That's what it is. Not Clue Crew is Giant Paw. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Shadows of Doubt, super fun. I really enjoyed it. It got hooks in me so deep. I made that whole video in one day. So,
Damn. Okay.
I know. I was surprised. You just suddenly messaged all of us. You're like, "Hey, I got a video. Please watch the video. Give me notes." I'm like, wow, I didn't know you got anything in production right now.
I also I had watched someone's video previously that was 2.35 by 1 on YouTube, and I didn't know you could do that, so I made that video in wide, which is why it might look weird when you pull it up. I wish I had recorded the video game in 4K though, because I punched in on 1080 and it didn't look great, but it was fun editing in a widescreen format, which is nice. You say because the voxels?
No, I said it's like some pixel art games. I feel like I can punch in on them. I know voxels is not pixel art, but I feel like you can punch in and still get what's happening.
There was some compression artifacts, but I also realized the I forget the resolution I used for it. It's some crazy thing. Because I used a resolution calculator, but the video plays in 1440p, so it looks way better than 1080, which is nice. So yeah, that was my weekend last weekend.
Awesome.
Glorious. Moving on. Sorry, we're almost done here. Time to go to the news, which means I gotta play the news theme, which means everyone shut up. That's right, folks. It's time for the news. So get your news panties on, everybody, because we're going to talk about the news. David, tell me about your news item.
Hey folks, if you can't tell based on the blacklight poster that's like right above my head, I love Psychonauts. I love me some Double Fine, and this week, Double Fine and Two Player Productions released a 32 episode documentary on the creation of Psychonauts 2 from even before they actually started working on the game. The first episode, maybe two, is actually like kind of a retro on Psychonauts 1 retrospective. And then going forward, it's on Psychonauts 2. This is cool as hell. It is thousands of hours of footage edited down into this documentary that more than anything that exists out there documents the creation of a video game for people that have not experienced it themselves. So if you are even slightly interested in how video games are made, in game design, in world design, storyboarding, writing, literally any of the parts that go into making a video game, to the interpersonal reactions. Heck, if you like some of the reality TV stuff, there are moments like that that are going to be in here based on the Double Fine adventure that was the creation of Broken Age, which was much shorter than this. If you like any of that stuff, this is an awesome way to just get a view into a world that most studios are keen on keeping a closed door secret. So just highly recommend checking this out. It is up on YouTube for free. And then if you, I don't know if you can get it any other way. If you backed Psychonauts 2 creation like I did, I think you can get like the 4K version, which is
Damn.
big because it's 32 episodes. So that's a hefty amount of memory space to use on that one. But like, this thing is awesome. I haven't gotten too far in it because it's very long and I've been pacing myself. Got a lot of other games and stuff to play right now, but I am absolutely going to go through this entire thing probably a couple times with how much I love Psychonauts and Psychonauts 2 and Double Fine stuff. But this thing is super awesome. This is not something that game studios really do. I think the closest we get is probably some no clip documentaries, some like we got the Raising Kratos documentary for God of War 2018, and some other ones that get
The
close,
Naughty
but
Dog ones are good.
yeah, they don't get anywhere near to this level of depth and length and breadth. So, if you're at all interested, check it out. It's super cool. I'm gonna definitely go through this whole thing. So, absolutely check it out.
Do I need to have played Psychonauts to enjoy it?
If you have an interest in how games are made, I would say no. If your interest is just like Psychonauts, then yeah, you probably want to play Psychonauts before watching it. But
Okay.
a lot of it's just how games are made, and playing Psychonauts 1 and or 2 would help you a lot with the context because they are going to talk about like characters and development that leads into things that you played if you played Psychonauts 2 or are familiar with if you played Psychonauts 1.
Don't add
So it
more to
certainly
my
would help.
list.
It's on Game Pass, bud.
Ugh. Ugh. It's like 10 more games. Jake, cleanse my palate from
it's only like-
Psychonauts.
Yeah, well, it's not
please.
necessarily a palate cleanser because it's a bit of a downer, but we talked about the Metroid Prime
10
remake
dead.
earlier. There was a couple days after it launched, there were a couple of the original Metroid Prime developers who were like, you know, this is only crediting the folks who worked on the remake. There's no even just like list of the short of the long is the original developers were not listed anywhere in the credits for the remake, which a lot of them took umbrage at justifiably. And it all comes back to the video game industry does not have a standard for crediting like other visual mediums do. That's what the unions in Hollywood, all the unions are kind of there to make sure that everybody who touches the final product gets credited properly, gets compensated properly, and game dev just doesn't have that. And so I thought this was just an interesting kind of another pin to put on the board of um, just the game industry really needs something like that. Because there's, you know, there's just so many stories of people being like, oh, yeah, I worked on this for 3 years and then I left a week before it launched and I'm not in the credits anymore. Like, well, that's messed up. And you
It's
look even further
stupid,
back
yeah.
to like the early days of Sega, where they were having their programmers credited using pseudonyms so that other companies wouldn't try to poach them. It's wild, crazy stuff.
Oh, you had in the old days, you had people making secret rooms and secret levels in games so that they
Yeah,
could put their name in the game
yeah.
as being like, "I made
Famously,
this." Yeah.
yeah, the first like quote unquote Easter egg is in
Jesus.
Adventure for
Yep.
Atari, where there's that room that just says created by Warren Robinette.
Yeah.
If you worked on a
That's
game, put their name in the credits. It's that
Yeah,
easy. It's that simple.
so
yeah,
simple.
like all the situations it's funny, all the situations you described, the remaster one is the one where I'm like the most like, oh, I yeah, that sort of makes sense. They remastered it, so they only managed to put the credits in for the people who remastered it, but there's a link to like there isn't. But like all the other situations you described with someone working on a game for 3 years, leaving a week before and not being included is wild.
That was
Even
that
the
was
remaster, you're skipping all of
No,
the
yeah,
largely
yeah.
creative decisions that had to be made and implemented back in the original title, and just being like, "Well, these are the people that mastered it." And I'm like, "No, you need to show. You should have a first section that says this is the team that worked on remastering this
Mhm.
game, and you
Yeah.
should have a second section that says these are the people that originally made this game." It's
yeah.
not that hard. It really
Because
is
that's
not.
like to draw a comparison again back to Hollywood. That's why sometimes you'll have you know, screenplay by credit, which is the person who wrote whatever version of the script was the shooting script. But if that was in development for a while, you might have story by up to like 5 or 6 people, because they were people who had a
Yep.
hand in the development of that story at least a little bit. Maybe somebody wrote a first draft and then somebody years later wrote a second draft, and by the time it finally got to it, 8 or 9 people had touched it. So sure, only one person wrote the screenplay, the shooting script, but a lot of other people are still going to get their names in the credits because they worked on it.
As they should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. The remaster thing I just think is like the least offensive version of all the things
Yep.
Jake also
Sure.
described.
Yeah, it's just indicative of a larger problem that needs to be
Exactly.
taken
Yeah.
care of.
Everyone needs to have credit on everything, even if they were the delivery boy, the best boy. Our
That's
favorite
kind of what
boy.
I do.
You deliver donuts?
Games.
Oh. I don't like you. No, I'm kidding. I really want a donut now. Damn. Coming in cold, Will. Sell 5. Folks, my little story here, I'll go through quick. I just thought this was neat. The Steam Year in Review 2022 went up today, February 16th. That is today. There's some interesting stuff in here at the top where they talk about things they did this year and slap themselves on the back. But what I care about, folks, what we care about is the raw numbers, the platform growth, the data, and the highlights is what we want here, folks. And we're getting into it here. So strap in or strap on, because here we go. In late October 2022, folks, guess the number of concurrent users signed into Steam threshold they passed.
I just
At
read it in the
least
article, so
6.
I'm not gonna guess.
It was at least 6. So you're right.
That's accurate.
I'm
30
technically
million
correct
concurrent
this
users.
time.
30
That's
million
that's a lot of
concurrent
people.
users. Only a
That's,
year and a half after hitting 20 million.
That's pretty good.
In January 2023, they crossed 33 million. The next
So
thing I
you're
really like in here,
10% in like 3 months. That's pretty actually wild.
yeah. This I think this might be my favorite thing from here is sorry, there was a average of 83,000 new first-time purchasers every day of the year.
Wow. It's a lot of
First
money.
time purchasers. That's wild. That's
Wild to me
absolutely
that
wild.
this many people had PCs and didn't already buy things on Steam. Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Tracking top new releases each month, a whopping 85 titles came from studios releasing their first ever game on Steam. Those newcomer studios spread across 28 different countries, ranging from Latvia to Indonesia to Argentina. And then their total content delivery increased 36% from 2021 for a total of 44.7 exabytes downloaded to players.
Okay, so wait,
An
what's
exabyte is a
it's,
billion gigabytes.
so wait, it's gigabyte and then
Gigabyte, terabyte,
terabyte and then petabyte?
Petabyte?
petabyte,
Is it
it's
I always said
gigabyte,
petabyte
terabyte,
because I don't want
petabyte,
it to sound like
exabyte.
pedophile.
Well, there's the pedophile byte, and then the
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of data. That's
Sorry,
a lot
right
of
here.
bandwidth.
Well, the questions have become answered thanks to Gabe Newell. Just how much is 44.7 exabytes? About as much data as if every one of the 8 billion people on planet Earth had downloaded a 5.5 gigabyte game.
Wow.
I
There's a
wish
lot of people on
Steam-
Earth.
Does the Steam year in review that like people got, does it tell you how much you downloaded
over?
that year? Because I would be
Don't think-
genuinely curious.
I don't think it does, but I'm definitely over the 5 gigs.
Yeah, the amount of times I download a 50 gigabyte game and the next day I'd be like, nah, I don't need it. I'm not gonna play it.
Oh,
yet,"
I have a
and then
data cap. I
uninstall
have
it.
to be a little more judicious than that on my end.
Oh, I'm an unlimited boy over here, and
Yeah,
Just
I
like
have
rolling.
cocks and they suck themselves, so
I mean, I have a cock too, but sorry. We need to get out of here, folks. Oh god. I think that's it. I didn't have a wish list spotlight, but go wish list Shadows of Doubt on Steam. There was
go
some
wish
fun-
list Tales of Symphonia Remastered. It comes out tomorrow.
No, we wish list indie games to help them. They can't
I
do
want-
it without us.
I want more Tales.
They
Wish
can't do
list
it
Tales
without
of
us.
Symphonia Remastered.
Folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did you like it? I did.
Me too.
Jake was here.
Yes,
How you feeling, Jake?
I'm good. I meant to bring this up at the beginning. I had a prompt.
Fuck.
My waffle who got a claw through my Subpixel shirt, so I have to get a new Subpixel shirt. Buy our merch.
Raz is very excited about the new Subpixel shirt.
It's dinner time. He knows it's dinner time.
David, thank you so much for being on this episode.
Happy to be here.
I'm very happy. Where can people find you?
Over on the YouTube and Twitch at Save Data Team. On either one, we got stuff going most of the week, so check it out.
Fantastic, folks. And you can find us at pixelfilms.com. I'll bring you to all the places. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.